We're talking about the Sumo Deadlift today. The Sumo Deadlift is a great variation to be used in group programming, and there are a few advantages to using this. The first one being is that because the bar is positioned closer to the body, we're essentially changing the lever arm, whereas with a conventional deadlift, it's further away from the body, all right? So conventional tends to put people in a position to have higher risk of lower back injury, whereas the Sumo, when we bring that bar in closer and get into that wide stance, we're almost making it more of a squat pattern. So it puts people in a position to effectively target the musculature where most people are weak, which is their glutes, hips, and hamstrings. Whereas a conventional deadlift, people can let their lumbar spine go into flexion and essentially only hit their lower back, which is why you'll see more injury with that movement. So a good variation to be included with a group as a whole and really benefit a lot of people. And another great benefit to it is that it tends to be easier to teach. Now, we can vary the stance based off the individual, but for most people, we want to get them into a wide stance. So the first thing we're going to talk about is a setup position. So we're going to get into that wide stance, and we're going to use the knurlings on the bar to essentially give ourselves a frame of reference so we're lining up evenly. Once we're there, our toes are pointed out just slightly. From here, the grip is the next part. Now, this is where I see a lot of people make the mistake of gripping it too close. And when we do that, there's going to be a lot of bar instability. So we want to make sure our grip is about shoulder width and essentially right inside of our knee. All right, so if you're looking at this from straight on, again, it's almost just slightly inside of shoulder width and slightly inside of our stance, okay? Third thing is we want to make sure that we engage the lats. So when we get into that setup position, we're going to think about externally rotating and keeping the latissimus engaged, which is going to, again, create more stability, keep us tight, and just create a safer and more efficient movement pattern, all right? So all together, we're going to think about engaging the lats, keeping the lumbar tight, and then everything rises at the same time. Last piece of this is head positioning. So with a conventional deadlift, neutral head tends to be looking more down, whereas a sumo tends to be looking more straight forward. So altogether, this is what it should look like. So we're essentially trying to spread the floor apart, drive our knees out, and again, we want everything to rise at the same rate. Lats are engaged, and then ending with a good lockout, squeeze the glutes at the top.